Hello friends, till now we are continuously discussing about the types of contract. In the previous video I have discussed something about on the basis of enforceability and on the basis of mode of creation. Now let us discuss further about the types of the contracts based on execution. Okay, contracts based on execution. See, the execution based on execution means normally here what is executed again? A task is executed based on whatever the contract which is agreed between the parties. In the case of contract based on execution, we study normally is those tasks that has been executed by two or more parties. So this is applicable commonly in the case of businesses, because certain nature of contracts are there where both has to execute, or someone has to partially execute, or one has to again completely execute, like that. So in such case normally these type of contracts normally takes place. Now let us see in detail what those contracts are based on execution. The first one is called as executed contract. In the case of executed contract, normally again what happens is both the parties have equally fulfilled their obligations. Whatever obligation was there, both the parties have fulfilled the obligation. So it becomes a complete contract here. So there is no litigation, no difference of opinion, and then there is no differences between the parties here in the contract. So contract is completed on whatever is said period of time. Okay, that is it. So in such case now it becomes an executed contract. For example, now again contract between the cement agency and the cement manufacturer is an executed contract, because the cement agency is in requirement of the cement. Why? Because the nature of business of that agency is buying and selling the cements. To whom? To the builders, to the developers, to the promoters, and to the users of the cement, the consumers of the customers of the cement. So in such case what it does is now again based on the requirements, now again it pays the advance amount to the company and normally book its order on daily basis. So on a daily basis company directly sends the supply of cement to the respective dealers there. So in such case normally it becomes an executed contract. One has booked the order and paid the money, second has sent the goods to the respective dealers. So like that it becomes an executed contract. Let us take one more example for executed contract. When we travel from normally say the Ujre to Hyderabad, normally again we book normally a ticket well in advance. So in such case what we do is we approach a travel agency, and what happens is normally when we approach a travel agency says that the following travels are available. Okay, so we choose the right traveler, and what we do is normally we book a ticket. When we book a ticket we pay money and now again well in advance book the place of pickup and place of destination. Ultimately what happens there is the respective travel agency makes an arrangement for that and makes sure that the best possible service is given to you for that, so that normally your journey is comfortable and you reach safely. That is there. So in such case it is called as executed contract. You have booked the travels based on your choice and you have paid the money. Secondly, the travels agency, wherever you go, now again has made an arrangement for travel of your choice and travel of your destination where you want to reach, and it makes sure that it provides a respective service to you. So in such case both the parties have fulfilled the obligation and it becomes an executed contract in this case. Second type of contract is executory contract. In the case of executory contract what happens there is normally the one party has made their obligations whereas second party has not made their obligations. One party is clear here, second party may not be clear, sometimes may be clear and sometimes may not be clear. So in such case the type of contract here is normally the executory contract. Okay, so contract observed in the case of your general insurance company and the customer can be called as normally the respective executory contract. So many times normally what happens is we find that a motor insurance policy is normally confirmed the order by the phone. Policy is made and it's prepared, cover note is also issued, but normally if the customer do not come and pick up the policy and make the payment, ultimately it becomes executory contract. Why? Because normally firstly the policy is booked over the phone. Why? Because there is a requirement. Why that requirement is arise? Let us have a clarity in this. It is required as per the Motor Vehicle Act, so it is compulsory, so no option to escape. So once the earlier policy lapses, he has to purchase the motor insurance. When he purchases the motor insurance, ultimately he goes to a particular dealer, makes sure that there is a renewal of the policy, and then again the respective the agent does the renewal, but money is not paid and normally the respective policy cover is not picked. So in such case what happens is it becomes an executed contract. One party has completed the obligation, other party has not completed his obligation. So in such case it becomes executory contract. Okay, that is one side. Third type of contract which we come across is called as a mixed contract. In the case of mixed contract, it is partly executed and partly executory. Partly executed and partly executory. So partly executed, why? Because normally it is been confirmed that the obligation will be fulfilled. But complete obligation is not fulfilled. Why? Because the nature of contract is in such a way that normally the completion of the task has to be fulfilled. Only then normally they can go for the further things that is there. So, for example, now in the case of catering contracts, we observe this type of contracts. So, where now again we book an order with the particular caterer, an outdoor caterer for a particular function, and we say that now again in the order normally following things has to be prepared. The menu will be given, a recipe will be given to him, and delicacies has to be prepared by the caterer. What the caterer normally does is he prepares everything now again, and then now again he brings it to the function, and then make sure that normally the food is served on time, and now again it satisfies all the respective people whoever attends the function. So ultimately at the end of this function now again, when everything is over, he is required to give a payment, is it not so? So in such case, if the payment is not made or delayed, or if some amount is kept as outstanding there, ultimately what happens there is it becomes a mixed nature contract. Because of some reasons, now if the payment is partly withheld or partly not made, it becomes a mixed contract there. One side order is given, order is fulfilled by one party, so that is completed. But if the payment is not made, ultimately it is a mixed nature contract. This is the third type. Fourth type of contract is normally called as quasi contract. The name quasi means now again it's a contract based on chance, or a contract based on incident, or a contract that has been undertaken when special circumstances arise. So in such case, when contract of such nature is encountered, normally we call it as a quasi contract. A quasi contract can also arise when there is an association of specialists, or when there is an assistance of specialists required in this particular contract. So in such case, normally we come across something called as a quasi contract. For example, when a heart operation is to be made, a heart specialist is required, not an ordinary doctor. At that time, normally we require a cardiac specialist, because he knows what is the condition of the heart, he knows what type of operation has to be performed, he also knows that what is the condition of the patient. Because normally he has got a challenge. One side normally he has to perform an operation in such a way that normally the patient must be recovered and saved. It must not be that operation success, patient out. What is required there is normally he must perform the operation in such a way that normally the operation also has to be successful, as well as patient should survive. So in such case, normally the cardiac specialist is required, one side. Second thing is normally the forensic expert is required when there are some criminal matters pertaining to signatures, or criminal matters pertaining to normally those activities where there is no chance of getting a proof or an evidence. So in such case, to search an evidence, we require forensic experts. So normally there is a contract between the Bureau of Investigation and forensic agencies, and forensic experts make sure that normally they recover the evidence back and make sure that the case is fit for further investigation. So in such case, we come across something called as a quasi contract. So quasi contracts basically are contracts arising out of an occasion, the contracts arising because of a situation, a contract arising when there is specialist association that has been needed there. So such type of things are coming out when we come across a quasi contract. Okay, so many times normally we require specialized people now again to undertake normally a particular task in the business. For example, now again to advertise a new product. So in such case, we go with normally the ad agencies who are specialists in this. They have got some in-house services where normally they see the products, observe the products, and make sure that what nature of advertising is fit for this type of product promotion. So in such case, what they do is now again they make sure that now the advertising is made in such a way that now the product becomes popular and sales of the company increases. There also we come across something called as quasi contract between a company manufacturing the product or company normally promoting the product and then the advertising agency. So this is how normally the things take place in the business. So to sum up now again, we discussed the third classification of the contract, that is contracts on the basis of execution. Here we come across executed contract where normally both the parties have fulfilled their obligations. Secondly, executory contract where one party has fulfilled the obligation and second party is yet to fulfill the obligation or has not fulfilled the obligations. Thirdly, mixed contract which is partly executed and partly executive, and quasi contract which is a contract arising based on the situation or the respective circumstance. Thank you very much.